Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Tuesday, September 10th, 2024 regular closed session meeting of the East Bay Mud Board of Directors. Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Director Chan,
Present.
Director Gomez,
Present.
Director Katz, Director Lenny,
Yes.
Director Patterson,
Yes.
Director Young,
Yep.
President McIntosh.
Here. We move to public comment now. If members of the public are online and wish to speak on agenda or non-agenda items, please use the raise your hand feature in Zoom. Comments on non-agenda items will be heard now. Comments on agenda items will be heard when the item is up for consideration. Madam Secretary, are there any public comments? I have 2 cards for in-person. Anyone online?
No online public comment.
All right, so let's move to our public comment here in person. First speaker is Yvette Rivera. It's a non-agenda item, correct?
Thank you. I provided documents to Director Young and Director Linney this morning. I wasn't able to confirm that Director Chan got the documents that I left for her, so I provided her another copy. I talked about the fact that on August 27th, I asked under a public records request for all of the historical costs of having an incumbent director having an incumbent director getting their name placed on a ballot. The law, or the Assembly Bill 408, was passed in 2014, and I've been here since 2015. And in 2014, I was a little disappointed that board members could appoint other board members if they ran unopposed. But I remember reading the BRD a long time ago, and it just made complete sense. So I'm providing to you a copy of the 2014 BRD and a copy of the 2024 BRD. And there is a problem, a big problem. If you look at the 2014 BRD, you will see at the end of the document, it talks about fiscal impact. It talks about next steps. And it talks about the alternatives. This is the reason why every board member did not allow incumbents to have their name placed on the ballot. And I'm going to read this afternoon if I run out of time right now. Now, if you read the BRD that was given out recently, and I can totally understand why Director Gomez may have been under the impression that it wasn't a big deal, it's because the document did not contain portions that are important for ratepayers, that the district is wasting money. Now, the estimate was $200,000, but I'm going to find out if that $200,000 was based on what, 2016 costs? Because now that's quite a few years ago. It's upsetting that the first document says the secretary of the district from 2024 was Risha Cole, and the district secretary from 2014 was Lynell Lewis. But it isn't even the people in that position that write this, or at least vet it. It's the people in general counsel's office. And how this was allowed to move through is irresponsible. And I'm not done with this issue, because we've had board directors talk about Lana Coleman and how she was gonna, what did she expect, the district to waste money? Well, I'm gonna be back when I get that Public Records Act fulfilled. Thank you, I yield.
I would just like to comment that it's clear that the law and what we pass as an ordinance allows us to have the decision on whether it is. It's not a law that says it can't be on there. We have the decision on that. So just a clarification point.
Thank you, Director Linney. And I'll be back at 1 to read the portion that clearly states why it's not recommended per staff.
This is not a debate. I just point of clarification.
Yvette, don't go away because you're next, the next speaker as well.
Thank you very much.
This is about the general counsel's performance appraisal.
Okay, am I the only speaker?
Yes.
Thank you. So I brought up at the last board meeting how no one at the district is held accountable for issues that ASME 444 has been bringing up for the past 2 years in terms of employee grievances, employee dismissals, skellies. It hasn't stopped. And whose office, general counsel's office, is the lead for the whole district? Again, when I was an employee, I was a part of teams. When I was an employee that was not retaliated against, I was a part of teams that involved general counsel's office when it came to unemployment hearing or discipline. Well, general counsel's office influence didn't disappear when I was taken out of the role that I had before. In fact, they have a stronger role now. And if you play back all the tapes of Joe Pagnolini, of employees, and of Eric Larson complaining about HR, about how Mr. McDonald may need to supervise his employees a little bit better, or at least train them, all of that should say to you that Mr. McDonald, one, doesn't deserve a raise. Two, who knows if he deserves a contract. But I hope the district is thinking about all of these meetings that have happened in the past and how all of those meetings are related to general counsel's office. Thank you, I yield.
All right. That's our last speaker. For the record, Director Katz has joined us. And we will now convene to conference room 8 to discuss closed session agenda items 1 through 2. And we're scheduled to return here for the regular meeting at 1:15. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Tuesday, September 10th, 2024, regular business meeting of the East Bay Mud Board of Directors. We will receive reports from this morning's Planning Committee under item 12. Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Director Chan?
Present.
Director Gomez?
Present.
Director Katz?
Here.
Director Lenny?
Here.
Director Patterson?
Here.
Director Young?
Here.
President McIntosh?
Here, please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There are no announcements required from closed session. We do have a presentation now, and I'll turn this over to the General Manager, who will highlight the Alliance for Water Efficiencies.
Thank you, President McIntosh. I'm pleased to announce that the district is a recipient of the Alliance for Water Efficiency's 2024 Water Supplier Member of the Year Award. This award recognizes leaders in the water efficiency community that have demonstrated consistent commitment to and support for the Alliance for Water Efficiency's mission. The Alliance for Water Efficiency serves as a North American advocate for water-efficient products and programs to help advance water conservation efforts. The Alliance for Water Efficiency recognized the district at its annual symposium in August for being a leader among utilities for innovative water efficiency incentive programs, customer leak identification notification tools, and creative customer outreach through our social media campaigns. The district has supported the Alliance for Water Efficiency since its inception in 2008 as a charter sponsor and continues to be an active stakeholder in numerous Alliance for Water Efficiency committees. I want to congratulate the entire Water Conservation Division on representing the district at the forefront of our water efficiency efforts. Today, we have 3 staff here to receive the award. We have Charles Bolig, Manager of Water Conservation, Geneva Gondak, Supervisor of Water Conservation, and Whitney Ray, Supervisor of Water Conservation, and Director Lenny, who is the Chair of the Sustainability Committee, will present the award to staff.
All right, I'd like to present this to you in recognition of East Bay Municipal Utility District, in recognition of its leadership in the water efficiency community and demonstrated support for the mission of the Alliance for Water Efficiency 2024. Thank you for all your great work.
Thank you so much.
Before you guys skedaddle, just thank you from the entire board for your service and all of your hard work for the district. Thank you. We sure know how to clear a room, don't we? All right. I've already covered closed session. That moves us to public comment. If members of the public are online and wish to speak on agenda or non-agenda items, please use the raise your hand feature in Zoom. Comments on non-agenda items will be heard now. Comments on agenda items will be heard when the item is up for consideration. Madam Secretary, are there any online comments?
None.
All right, I do have 3 speaker cards for here. 1 is on an agenda item, number 3, so we're going to pull that from consent. And then we have 2 from Yvette Rivera. Yvette, come on out. And we'll start with non-agenda item, return to adding fiscal impact to board 1.
That's not the non-agenda item, that's the agenda item, but I'm going to start with
Well, you
that.
say number 2.
Sorry about that. It's just about, number 2 is the agenda item, and it's just the formatting for BRDs that come from the originating Department of Finance.
Okay,
So I have a comment just about that.
all right,
Of course,
so,
we need carbon.
all right, so then let's start with the actual non-agenda item. Is that all right?
Can I,
All right, Assembly Bill 408.
can I reclaim my time? Okay, thank you. I've spent the first 2 meetings talking about AB 408, which is Assembly Bill 408, and it's usually titled in the BRDs, Election Actions Pursuant to Municipal Utility District Act, Section Government Code 11852.5. That's a long explanation to just say that the district had an opportunity in 2014 to begin the process of just appointing board members that were going to run unopposed. So I've been here since 2005. Most of the board members have been here since at least, I'd say, 2014 and 2016. And all of the board members likely saw the board motion that I provided to you this morning from 2014, and the format probably copied this. And I know that this morning, Director Linney said, well, we have the option. Well, since 2014, no one on the board exercised that option. In fact, Director Linney didn't even vote for it last month. If it was such a great thing, I would assume that he would be on board with other people that voted for it, but he wasn't. I'm going to read this part because it's important, because it wasn't contained in the 2024 BRD. And it's irresponsible that it wasn't. And if the board feels that it's okay for it not to be included in BRDs, then I have a major concern about whether or not this board cares about what happens with ratepayer money. So this is what the old BRD said. The board supported the adoption of AB 408 because since 2002, East Bay MUD ratepayers have paid over $1.7 million in election costs for uncontested candidates. And in 2012, district ratepayers paid $475,000 in election costs for 3 uncontested candidates. Staff anticipates future savings potential could be on the same order as these historic costs. And then on the bottom, it says, do not take any, one of the alternatives, do not take any action and have the election proceed automatically for all open board seats, even those that are unopposed. This is what should have been in the BRD for 2024. This alternative is not recommended because the district supported adoption of AB 408 to provide a tool to control costs on behalf of its ratepayers and to give the board the authority to choose between appointing an unopposed candidate or proceeding with the election. I'm going to finish by saying it was completely irresponsible for a board member to put that motion to the board. Thank you, I yield.
All right, don't go away, but
Oh, so on that other item, I just want to say that it's pretty obvious how these board motions changed and how fiscal impact was removed from these board motions. I mean, we've got, in this number 2, of course we're going to need carbon dioxide, of course. But this board motion is coming from the Department of Finance. Can't they write up what the financial fiscal impact is? So the board can make good decisions on anything that comes before the board?
makes sense.
Thank you. I yield.
All right.
Sorry, was that on a specific item?
That was on item 2.
Do we have to pull an
So
item in order to have comments?
I'm not, well, she's given us her comment, so do we have to pull it? No?
I mean, unless there's more comment, there's no need
Yeah.
from the board.
All right. Okay. That moves us to consent calendar. I have a speaker card on item number 3, so we're pulling that. Are there any other items that need to be removed for questions, comments, or thoughts? All right, do we have a motion on all items 1 through 10, excluding item 3?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion by Director Lenny, a second by Vice President Patterson. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, that gets us to item number 3. Eric Larson, come on out. Central Reservoir. And the board oversight of capital projects.
Good afternoon. Thank you, President McIntosh. My name is Eric Larson, President AFSCME Local 444. I'm going to speak on board agenda item number 3, which is awarding a $15 million contract to Brown and Caldwell for Central Reservoir design services. AFSCME Local 444 continues to have concern about the board's ability to have proper oversight of capital spending. I do personally have recollection of a presentation some years back about the Central Reservoir project, and in fact, when we look at the board document, we can see that the last time it was presented to the board was in 2022 at the long-term infrastructure investment workshop and in the planning committee back in 2021, some 2 or 3 years ago. Before, I believe, Director Chan was sitting on the board, and certainly before Director Gomez sat on the board. So based on the $15 million scope of this design proposal, $15 million just for the drawings and project management, I think it would be prudent for management to provide at least a presentation during planning to update the board. Here's this $15 million project. We'd like you to approve it this afternoon, rather than kind of just assuming that, well, you did it 2 years ago, and so it should be good to go. So Local 444 does request that the board put a pause in this until you have an opportunity to have a presentation and understand what the $15 million and what the additional spending is going to entail, because this is just for the design, not for the construction basis or scope of the project. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. We do have an email from Justin Young on the same item, number 3. I'm sorry, and I'm trying to read. And he attached a memo. So Justin's not online to speak.
Justin is not online to speak. The email and the document that he sent to the board will be filed with the meeting minutes.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you, Risha. All right, then.
I think I would like to address the comments here. Central Reservoir, I believe, is in Bill's district, but it borders mine, and it's one that certainly I've been.
And that's impact on mine.
Right. It is a major project. I don't remember when the last time we had a briefing on it. I kind of feel like I can visualize it in my head to some extent in the discussion. I don't remember anything being particularly controversial about it, but I wonder if it would at least warrant some sort of presentation here or just something that could refresh our memories on the project a little bit.
We do have a few slides, just if the board's interested in what this project is about. And maybe as you cue that up, and Roy, if you can come up, just a little background on, and Eric mentioned some of these, but, we did talk about this project at the 2019, 2020, 2022 infrastructure workshop. We talked about this project in the FY 2021, 22, 23, 24, 25 budget discussions. The board adopted the EIR for this project back in 2021. And then for Justin's comments, what he attached to it was the contracting out memo that was sent to the union back December of 2023. We had asked for, and this is typically, we ask the unions to respond within 14 days if they oppose the project. And the first time we've heard back from 2019 was yesterday. The other thing, he had also asked about consultant-led contracts versus district forces-led contracts. And we did meet with 2019, or staff met with 2019 this past April, and showed the various metrics of how we look at how the projects are managed for district and construction-led projects, just to show, the percent of design versus construction, construction management versus construction. In summary, I would say, when you look at the metrics of how you look at the projects, consultant or district-led projects, they're very similar in terms of how they're delivered. But with that, I think it would be useful for the board to get a little background, because this is in fact our largest open cut reservoir. There are numerous issues with this facility, and Roya, please provide the background.
Sure. Good afternoon, President McIntosh, members of the board, General Manager Chan. My name is Roya Yazdani, and I'm Associate Civil Engineer in the Infrastructure Program Management Group within the Design Division. Thank you. As the project manager for the Central Reservoir Replacement Project, I'm grateful for the opportunity to provide you with a brief overview of this important project, as General Chan mentioned, its key drivers, and the reservoir program. I'll start with a brief overview of the project. Central Reservoir, built in 1910, is our largest distribution reservoir with a capacity of 154 million gallons. It's located on a 27-acre site in Oakland. It serves 52,000 customer connections, and it's vital for both emergency and operational storage. We plan to replace it with 3 14-million-gallon pre-stressed concrete tanks as part of this project. As General Manager Chan mentioned, the CEQA Environmental Impact Report was adopted by the board on April 13, 2021. Local 2019 and Local 21 were notified on December 6, 2023 of the intent to contract out the design of this project. We did not receive any issues or questions from the unions at the time. Here are the main project drivers. The reservoir has reached the end of its useful life. Replacing it is crucial for ensuring a reliable water supply. We will resize the reservoir to better manage challenging water quality conditions and to enhance operational flexibility. We will also raise the reservoir's elevation to improve water distribution system operations. The project features several specialized design elements. The foundation of the new tanks will include cement deep soil mixing, known as CDSM, and an approximately 38-foot thick engineered field pad, which is constructed out of soil reinforced with cement. Additionally, the detailed structural design of these tanks will be done during the design phase of the project. The specialized design experience required for the CDSM foundation system at this scale and the detailed structural design of the tanks is beyond district's expertise, which is why we are engaging a consultant for the design of the project. Here is an overview of the reservoir projects within our program for the fiscal years 2025 through 2028. Central Reservoir will be designed by consultants due to in-house resource limitations and the specialized design features that I mentioned earlier. However, the consultant design will be reviewed and checked by in-house staff. Key staff have already been assigned to manage the consultant and to review their design. In addition, staff will be actively working on the design of the 7 reservoir replacement projects listed here, all of which will be done in-house. Thank you for your attention. There were a few slides, and if you have more questions, we would be happy to hear them.
Doug, you need something further?
No, I appreciate the refresher on that, and again, for the newer members, maybe that's helpful. I would just say, I know this is an essential project. There's not been any questions about that. Central Reservoir is very important for my district. And after doing a tour of it with Bill some years ago, it's not something that's new to me, or if there's any question that this needs to proceed.
And as far as the construction costs, we're at the very preliminary stages. This is an expensive project, but do you have a rough estimate of, at a playing level, what this cost might be?
In today's dollar, our, again, as you mentioned, rough estimate for construction contract is about $250 million. And the total construction cost, we think it would be around $280 million. So yes, it's an expensive project.
I would welcome an opportunity to have this come before the planning committee to have a more in-depth discussion about it. It's probably time.
Okay.
All right. Oh,
I just have a brief comment. So yeah, as far as being a new board member and seeing consent items that are sizable, I always appreciate having an opportunity to talk with our general manager before each meeting and to ask very important questions about some of these. So I just want to let people know that we're looking and trying to understand as much as possible ahead of a board meeting. But I appreciate having this further presentation today also as part of learning about this particular project. So thank you for that added information.
and Luz, thank you for raising that issue, because I always thought it was great getting my questions answered before the board meeting.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
it's appreciated.
I'll move the item.
All right, we have a motion from Director Lenny. Waiting for a second.
I'll second.
A second from Director Young. There's nothing further. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right.
And we have no other presentations, and attached to your packet is the monthly report, and at your places is a speakers bureau.
I am so non-believing right now. So that was the general manager's report. We will now move to reports. Let's start with a report from this morning's planning committee, if that's okay, Marguerite?
Yep. We had our annual, semi-annual compliance. Let me just pull up the slide deck. Our semi-annual regulatory compliance report, which included some mishaps and lessons learned, but overall a positive, positive report. We then moved on to an update on the notice of availability for an EIR, draft EIR on the Sabranti Water Treatment Plant, phases 1 and 2, which included a lot of changes in response to nearby customers' concerns and lots of changes that were made to the design, showing, really demonstrating a lot of responsiveness to our ratepayers and, their concerns in terms of creating a project that is compatible with the neighborhood, and that starts public comment, opens when?
2 days.
And then will be open for 60 days, 45?
60? Yeah, 60.
60 days. And we have some outreach planned, both for the Soprani MAC and a group of residents that's been getting convened by our Richmond City Council member, Sohelia Bana. And then finally, we had an update on the forest resilience efforts at the Upper McCollum River Watershed Authority, of which we are a major part, and to discuss our collaboration with Blue Forest, with the work that's going on under some state grants, and what the future might look like, including consideration of other financing mechanisms that could help achieve restoration at scale. So I will leave it at that.
All right, thank you. Please submit other items for future consideration to the General Manager's office. And now that moves us to Director comments. Are there any? These are reports only and no action required. Director comments? Doug?
I just say
Marguerite?
I had the opportunity to attend a couple of events. I guess it was really one event at the East Bay Mud leased facility, again at the what's it called, Station Zero or something, for the hydrogen refueling station. And then prior to that, got to take a boat ride, the ferry ride, new hydrogen ferry that Clifford and I were able to join other dignitaries to see that. And it was quite interesting. One of the things that they were very proud about on the ferry that's worth mentioning is they had a water bottle refilling station there that they said was basically the water came from the exhaust, if you will, of the hydrogen fuel cell ferry, which was quite fascinating to everyone.
And comforting.
Yeah. And I asked Clifford, who's regulating this anyway?
Right,
Sure.
it's covered by the safe.
So he assured me it was. But that was quite interesting. And it seems like there was one other thing that I attended recently. But, I know, it was the Greenbelt Alliance had their 50th anniversary celebration at Preservation Park, and that was able to go there representing East Bay Mud.
Wonderful, thank you, Doug.
I have
Marguerite
attended
and-
2 events. One is the Alameda County Labor Council benefit dinner benefiting the Fuerza Education Foundation the end of August. And then just this past Sunday, had the pleasure of riding or being in the Oakland Pride Parade, which is growing every year. There was quite a good turnout. I wish there'd been a little bit more turnout from East Bay Mud employees, but there were several in the truck. I brought my granddaughter. She had a great time, and I think I saw pretty much every public agency participating in the parade, as well as a number of our local businesses and a bunch of schools. Lots of kids. So it was quite a nice event. And Joey provided music that got everybody moving along the crowd. So it was, we were well received. And I hope more people turn up next year.
Thank you, Marguerite. Andy?
Yes, I'd like to report on a meeting that I attended on behalf of the district along with General Manager Chan and our public affairs staff with the East Bay Regional Parks District. They brought their board president, general manager, and some of their other staff that are on point for their strategic plan. They are planning for a long-term strategic plan, and we were their first informational meeting to inform that process. This was not meant to substitute for our liaison committee. I did make that clear that we look forward to the liaison committee coming back together. But we did get a chance to catch up on some of our mutual interest topics, namely vegetation management and how that relates to fire safety on our corridors where our watershed lands abut their lands, their parks lands. The effects of managing land use and recreational uses and different types of competing uses for recreational users and how we manage lands differently and just how that tension between users and as they go from invisible boundaries, what that means for those users, as well as noting a couple sites where we have areas for close consideration, including I named some sites in Director Chan's word just to make sure that they were aware of considerations around things that we've raised in over discussion. So I'll be sure to catch you up on some additional details. But it was a very productive meeting. One of the areas that we had the most rich discussion of, there was a lot of, don't forget about this, and that's what I'm summarizing for the most part. One of the areas where we were really, they were very excited to hear about our furtherance of public education and providing transportation for youth in our watershed tours. And they may be interested in following suit. Glad to share how that meeting went, and I look forward to hearing what they're coming up with. It was, mostly our sharing of information and then hearing about potential opportunities. That's what I have to report here.
Thank you, Andy. Bill?
I just wanted to reiterate an earlier item on the agenda that everybody needs to go review. And that was item 11, the general manager's report. It is one of the best report of the overall district. And I wanted to highlight the fact that our program that started some 26 years ago, the customer assistance program exceeded 10,000. This is the highest ever. And that report continues to talk about the kinds of contributions that our staff has made and the ranking order. It wasn't by chance that we got the Conservation Award today. It has been one of the highlights of this district in lowering the amount of water used per capita in the history of water in the United States, because we reduced the amount of water with far less people that they were using when we started. And that should be documented in your mind to know that conservation spoke first, and following that, all the other things that we have done to make our water supply never stop serving and being there for the people we serve. So I just wanted to highlight that. Thank you, Clifford, for that report.
Thank you. Thank you, Bill. All right, let's go straight down. April?
Okay, I just wanted to echo what Bill was saying about the general manager's report. Those are excellent reports. I think you probably started them after I came, right? Because I don't remember them.
It's always been there.
Always.
Oh, really? Okay, well, I think they're more exhaustive now. I'm going to say that. But what my suggestion would be for the new people coming on is to compile all those general manager reports into a binder. I think it's a great overview, and I think it would help people learn what we do here at the district much faster. And that was, yeah, I think that's it for me.
Maybe even finding a way to post them so they're more easily findable.
I really do think that's something we should share more. So figure out how to do that.
Liz?
So I would echo and thank our general manager, excellent report. And also appreciate that when something comes through that is of interest, potential interest to the district, you're very responsive to that as well. So I recently learned that UC Davis has a graduate program of environmental policy and management, and that they have a program where they could have students partner with agencies like EBMUD for a semester and come up with a tangible project that could be helpful to the agency. And while we cannot partner this year, thank you for exploring the possibility of partnering next year, because I think it would be a good pipeline for us to get students from UC Davis with an interest in environmental policy. So thank you for that.
All right, thank you, Liz. All right, if there's nothing further, the next regular meeting of the Board of Directors will be held Tuesday, September 24th, 2024, at 1:15 p.m. This meeting is now adjourned. Thank you, everyone.